Have you ever stopped to think that not everything called Christian truly is? Today, there are churches where people pray to an alien Jesus, groups who believe the Messiah has returned and lives in a village in Siberia. It sounds like fiction, but it's real. And the scariest part, many of these movements present themselves as part of the Christian faith. But then comes the question no one likes to ask. What does it really mean to be a Christian? Is it just saying, I believe in Jesus? Or is there a line, thin, almost invisible, that separates genuine faith from a well-disguised lie? In this video, we're going to cross that line. We'll investigate what a modern heresy is, why so many people fall into them, and how to recognize a faith that seems true, but may be leading you far from the cross. Because if everything can be called Christianity, maybe Christianity means nothing at all. Heresy. A strong word. A scary word. A word that sounds like it belongs in the past. Bonfires, persecutions, fights between priests and medieval philosophers. But the truth is, heresies never really left. They just changed clothes. Today, they come wrapped in beautiful language, inclusive speeches, charismatic leaders, and even Bible verses, carefully taken out of context. But after all, what is heresy? Heresy is not simply disagreeing. It's not about baptizing babies or adults. It's not about singing hymns or using drums in worship. These are differences within the same faith. Heresy is when the core of the gospel is denied, when the cross is pushed aside, when Jesus is no longer seen as God, when grace is replaced with a system of merit. It's like someone claiming to be a doctor, but they never studied, never stepped into a hospital, and they reject science. They might even wear a lab coat, but they're far from the truth. In Christianity, the same logic applies. Believing in Jesus, yes, but which Jesus? The one revealed in the Bible? Or another version, reconstructed to please cultures, ideologies, or leaders? That's the doorway through which heresies enter. When eternal truth is reshaped to fit temporary desires. Today, there are movements that use the language of Christian faith, but preach a message that's light years away from the gospel. Take the example of the Mormons. They talk about Jesus, quote the Bible, but they also say that God was once an ordinary man, and that you, yes, you, can become a God too. They also believe Jesus appeared in the Americas, and that salvation depends on modern revelations found in another book, the Book of Mormon. In other words, a different gospel, a different foundation. What about the Jehovah's Witnesses? They speak with conviction. They knock on your door with a Bible in hand. But they deny the Trinity. They claim Jesus is not God, but the Archangel Michael. And they teach that only 144,000 people will go to heaven. Is that Christianity? No. It's an alternative version with completely different roots. Now, an even bolder example, the Unification Church, known as the Moonies. Their leader, Sun Myung Moon, claimed Jesus failed in his mission, and that he, Moon, was the new Messiah. Faith became a system of mass weddings, worship of the leader, and a doctrine blending Christianity, Spiritism, and Eastern ideologies. We could stop here, but there's more. Christian Spiritism is also growing. It promises comfort, talks about love, and even quotes Jesus, but it claims we can speak to the dead, something the Bible clearly calls abomination. And when man becomes the mediator between worlds, the cross loses its meaning. Do you see the pattern? These movements don't eliminate Jesus, they redesign him. They trade the centrality of the cross for new revelations, charismatic leaders, or modern ideologies. The result? A spirituality that feels deep, but is disconnected from truth. The truth is hard, but it must be told. Not everyone who follows a heresy is a deceiver. Many are just hurting. People who sought help in a church and were ignored, who asked hard questions and only got pre-packaged answers, who went through pain, grief, exclusion, and didn't find comfort where there should have been love. Do you know what happens when faith becomes just ritual? When sermons don't touch the soul and the community doesn't care? People go searching for meaning elsewhere. That's when modern cults appear, warm, intense, full of promises. They offer healing in 7 steps, salvation through a magic prayer, exclusive revelations for the chosen ones. It all sounds beautiful until you start asking questions, and then that unconditional love disappears. What's left is control, fear, manipulation. But why do so many fall for this? Because these movements offer what many people never had, the feeling of being special, of belonging, of being heard. The problem is, all that comes wrapped in a lie that, little by little, pulls people away from the true gospel, the one that speaks of repentance, grace, the cross, and resurrection. And here's a painful truth. Sometimes, the problem isn't just the deceiver, it's also the one who should have welcomed and didn't. That's why we need to reclaim a faith that loves, but also teaches, a church that embraces, but also warns. Because a faith without biblical roots is fertile ground for heresy. In a world where anyone can call themselves a Christian, how do we know what's true? The answer isn't in appearances, not in the size of the building, the beauty of the music, or the charisma of the preacher. The answer is in the center of the message. Want to know if something is truly Christian? Ask this: is Jesus at the center, or has he been replaced? If the cross is no longer the focus, if the Bible is treated as just another book, if salvation is sold as a product instead of offered as grace, be careful. Here are 4 practical signs to help you discern. 1. Deviation from biblical essence. The group uses the Bible, but always adds a new revelation on top. Jesus is mentioned, but reinterpreted. 2. Personality cult. A leader who can never be questioned. Someone who claims to be the only channel between God and people. 3. Emotional and easy promises. Instant prosperity, guaranteed healing, blessings without repentance. A gospel with comfort, but no confrontation. 4. Spiritual exclusivity. Only they have the truth. All other Christians are lost or deceived. Biblical truth might hurt, but it sets you free. Heresies, they flatter your ego, but chain your heart. And remember, the Christian faith is not a buffet where you only take what you like. It's a call to surrender, to love, to grace, to the truth revealed in Jesus. After all this, maybe one question still lingers. Is what I follow the truth? Does my faith have Jesus at the center, or just carry the Christian label on the outside? This is not an accusation, it's an invitation, a call to take a second look, to go back to the beginning, to the cross, to grace, to the truth. Because sometimes we grow up repeating phrases, reciting doctrines, participating in rituals, and never realize how far we've drifted from the essence. But the good news is, it's never too late to return, to read the Bible with open eyes, to seek Jesus not out of convenience, but out of love, to let go of spiritual trends, and rediscover the faith that transforms. If anything in this video stirred something in you, don't ignore it. Maybe it's God calling you back, not to a religion, but to a real life with Him. And if you know someone trapped in one of these movements, don't attack, don't judge, love them, listen, show them the way with grace and truth. Now tell me, have you ever come into contact with any of these heresies? Do you know someone who fell into them and doesn't even realize it? Leave a comment, let's talk. This is a safe space, no judgment. And of course, if this video helped you see more clearly, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. There's still so much that needs to be said and revealed.